A ship sinks, a factory burns, a plague shuts down a city, the contract says you owe money anyway. November 1755. Lisbon, an earthquake leveled the city in minutes, thousands dead. Merchants who'd signed contracts to deliver goods found themselves in legal limbo. Did they still owe payment if the goods no longer existed? The courts had to invent an answer. That answer became the legal doctrine we now call force majeure, literally superior force. The concept existed in Roman law, buried in centuries of legal texts, but Lisbon made it real. When nature or war or plague made performance impossible, courts began recognizing that some obligations couldn't survive. The doctrine spread across European legal systems. By the 1800s, it was standard. Contracts now carried an invisible clause: unless the world ends, you perform. Here's how it works. A force majeure clause explicitly lists events: earthquake, war, pandemic, government action that excuse performance without penalty. The party invoking it must prove two things: the event was unforeseeable at signing, and it made performance objectively impossible, not just expensive or difficult. The distinction matters. A hurricane that destroys a warehouse, force majeure. A spike in shipping costs that eats profit, not force majeure. Courts have repeatedly rejected claims where performance was merely harder or costlier. The threshold is high, impossible, not inconvenient. Then came 2020. Governments locked down, factories closed, supply chains fractured. Suddenly, every contract with a force majeure clause became a battleground. Airlines invoked it to cancel tickets and keep the money. Suppliers cited it to delay shipments indefinitely. Courts worldwide had to answer a question that had haunted contracts for 265 years. Does the clause protect you, or does it just delay the problem? The answer: it depends. Some courts ruled that pandemics were foreseeable in the modern world, stripping the clause of power. Others held that government orders to close were force majeure, but only for a narrow window. Insurance companies fought claims tooth and nail. Contracts that seemed clear became ambiguous the moment they mattered. The real lesson isn't about earthquakes or pandemics. It's this: force majeure clauses are written in calm times when both parties assume their contract will survive. But they're invoked in chaos when one party needs escape and the other needs payment. The clause that seemed fair becomes a weapon. The protection becomes a loophole. Language that made sense on paper gets rewritten by judges under pressure. Every contract you sign carries invisible history, 265 years of courts trying to answer the same question. When does the world break your promises for you? The answer matters. It shifts risk. It decides who loses money when disaster strikes, and it's never as settled as the words suggest. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to decode the fine print that shapes your financial life. Every week, we expose the hidden mechanics that others miss. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.